What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Twisted Life of TV. I am Poetry. You are here for a PNTV Extra, where I'm going to try to give you a little bit of information about the Republican VP selection by Donald Trump by the name of JD Vance. I was going to do this live, but I want to kind of stay focused on the subject matter. You know, sometimes we can go off kilter a little bit when we do lives. And I just want to just like kind of get through it without too much interruption. Please, if you have any questions that you believe I can find the answers to, go ahead and drop it down in the comment section. Let me be your Google if you want me to be. I'm not one of the people to say go Google it. I try to help. Okay, so last night at the RNC, the Republican National Convention, Donald Trump announced his VP selection, and it's very comical to me, to say the least, on who he picked. One, because of his lack of experience, and the other comical aspect is how the media is trying to spin it, of how he was such a staunch opposer of Donald Trump and his ways. Basically, the news media and others are trying to piss on our heads and call it rain. That's pretty much what they're trying to do. Because if you look at JD Vance's history from his political affiliations and prior to his connections that he's had and people that he followed, you can clearly see that he was never in opposition of Donald Trump. What he was doing was setting the stage for his political run. That's what I believe that he was doing with the comments that he made in regards to Donald Trump prior to him actually getting into office. So I have my little notes here. I'm going to be reading them, and let's hope I can get through them without stumbling over my own words. JD Vance, like I said, during the RNC convention, Donald Trump announced that JD Vance, who is a junior U.S. Senator of Ohio, whose real name is James Donald Bowman, he announced that he will be his VP pick. If you don't know what a VP is because you're from another country, that is the vice president. That is the second highest position in the land after the president. And this person has only been in politics since 2023, I'm going to say, officially. He started running in 2022, but as you will probably understand why I'm saying he started to set the stage long time ago for his run, because he thought about running in 2017, and a lot of the things that he spoke out against in regards to Donald Trump, he did it around the 2016 election. He was setting the fucking stage. Okay, so give me 1 second. Had to go get my water because my throat's dry. Okay, so now, my first question was, why does he change his name? Because again, his name was JD Vance, and his real name is James Donald Bowman. JD Vance, if you're not aware, is actually a best-selling author. If you've seen this movie on Netflix called Hillbilly Elegy, it was starring Glenn Close, directed by Ron Howard. That is the story of his life. It is based on his best-selling memoir. I can never get the name right. On his best-selling memoir. So that way be where you are familiar with JD Vance from. JD Vance was also a pen name. What he did was adopt his grandmother's maiden name. Or his grandmother's married name, I apologize, and became JD Vance, but James Donald Bowman was his name. He also went under another name of James Himmel, I believe, Hemel. I don't know where that name came from. That may be another pseudonym that he was writing under. So in addition to him being a writer, I think he's authored more than just his memoir. He authored maybe a couple other books. But in addition to him being a writer, JD Vance also had 2 other wives prior to the one that's out right now. They're trying to make it seem like the one he's married to right now is the one who turned his life around and made him the man that he is today. But he had 2 prior wives prior to 2014. Now, JD Vance is only 38 years old. 2014 was 7 years ago. That's 31 years. That's when he married the current wife. I don't know how long they dated, but that's when he married her when he was 31. So prior to him getting with her, I'm just going to say 31, so that's the age that we know of. Because like I said, I don't know how long they dated. But prior to him getting with her, he had 2 other wives. I don't know when he married them or what have you. He was originally born in Kentucky. They currently live in Cincinnati, Ohio. He also owns property in the state of New Jersey. He bought a $1.5 million or billion dollar house, $1.5 million house in the state of New Jersey. Okay, so like I said, he just got into politics. They're saying in 2022 because that's when he was elected, but he actually took office in January of 2023. That's only a year and a half ago. So he's been in the politics officially 18 months. JD Vance is the first U.S. senator since 1974 who has no political experience. And that senator in 1974 was John Glenn, the astronaut. Okay, since 1974, I was born in 73. So in the last 50 years, there has not been another U.S. senator from the state of Ohio. Let me make that specific. From the state of Ohio that did not have any political experience at all. And 18 months of non-political experience, 18 months of his experience, for me, does not qualify him to be a VP of the United States of America. Okay. When I was saying don't believe the hype that Vance is one of Trump's strongest opposition that we've seen in the media reports, it's all due to his prior history for me. He has, when he ran for his senatorial run, he was very, very strongly supported by right-wing organizations, right-wing PACs as well. The NRA, the National Rifle Association, I believe donated millions of dollars to him. I'm not going to say the exact fact because I don't think I wrote it down. I might have. If I wrote it down, then I'm kind of smart. But sometimes I'm not so smart. I didn't write it down. Okay. The NRA donated millions of dollars to his campaign to make sure that he got elected in 2022, right? Okay. So he also has a lot of financial ties, business investments, and business ventures with very, 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 and I'm putting 3 varies on intentionally, right-leaning individuals. When I say very, very, they're not just Republican. They are like, not just conservative. They are past that. You know what I'm saying? They are extremists. And these are who he partnered with and does business with and has always done business with. Now, he is a former U.S. Marine. I am a Marine also, but I'm not finna oorah devil dog his ass. Not at all. But he's very, very opposed to the support of Ukraine. However, he says that he does not support Russia because Putin hates him. Putin has banned him from coming near any part of Russia at all. Now, you've only been a U.S. Senator since January of 2022. When did you have this interaction with Putin that he banned you? Now, he also says Putin never met him. They've never met face to face. So when did you get the ban? Or what did you do when you visited over to Russia that was against the country's rules? I'm just asking the questions. Okay. Now, like I said, he is married to Usha Chilukuri. Okay. Usha Chilukuri is his 3rd wife. I can't wait to see the first 2 wives come out the woodwork, and that's they forced him into NDAs. I need to go back and look at his campaigns that he had in 2022 to see what was uncovered about his personal life and his first 2 wives. Now, again, the movie Hillbilly Elegy, which is on Netflix, it's on Netflix because I just saw that it's the #1 searched movie of today. It is on Netflix. It goes a detail, but I think they skip over the fact that he had 2 other wives, even in that movie. The movie basically talks about his broken relationships with his mother and his father. He was not very close to them. It talks about addiction, abandonment, because he was raised by his grandparents, okay? And he ended up adopting their names, and then that's why he became Vance. It talks about all the struggle and abuse that went on with his mother. It doesn't really talk much about his father at all, but he had a very estranged relationship with the father too. He didn't have a good bond with the mother, and damn sure didn't have a good bond with the daddy either. But his Mima and his Pawpaw, that's who he connected with. That's who raised him up. Okay, so, but his wife, Usha, she is an American Indian citizen. Not Native American, not Indigenous American, however you want to, whichever terminology fits best with you. I prefer to call the Indigenous people by their tribe. That's what I prefer to call them. But anyway, she quit her job today. As soon as she found out that her husband got selected for the VP nomination, then she quit her job. She was a lawyer. He was a prior lawyer as well. Now, prior to marrying Vance in 2014, she was a registered Democrat. But since marrying him, he has converted her over to a Republican, and she has, at least on her last election during the midterms, she voted straight Republican on all ballots. If Trump is stupidly elected, and I'm gonna put that in there, if y'all are stupid enough to put his ass in office, because I'm not gonna be, then she would be the first person of color to be the second lady. Like I said, she's of Indian descent from the country India. She's not from the country India. She's from San Diego, California, but her parents were immigrants from the country of India. And I put in my comments earlier, this is why Nikki Haley thought she had a chance. There are a lot of people of color who don't consider themselves in unification with all people of color, which myself is why I do not call myself a person of color. I am a black woman. I'm an African American woman. Is there some black people don't even like those terms to coexist to one another? But I bridge them together because I know that the ancestry of my peoples, that I am from the African diaspora, which makes me an African American, but I'm also a black American. And I know that was a term that's probably given to us by some other white folks. I don't know where the term black came from, but I identify with being black. I'm proud to be black, and I scream it out loud and, proud. But anywho, a lot of Indians, and I'm speaking of people from India, do not consider themselves in unity with any association with black people. That's a lot of them. I know a mighty few that do. And these mighty few that do are actually married to black people. So they embrace the person of color umbrella. A lot of Asian Americans, a lot of Latin Americans don't consider themselves to be in unification. They closely associate themselves with white people. They think that dating white people, marrying white people, having kids with white people makes them more pure or less colored. Yeah, and Usha's one of them people, is what I'm getting at. Nikki Haley was one of them people also. But when the time comes, they call on their race, their cultural, their ethnicity to use to help, what's the word I'm going to say? Support a cause. That's a good terminology. When they need it the most, then all of a sudden, Oh my God, I'm Indian. Okay. Anywho, child. So let me tell you a little bit about her. She served as a law clerk for 2 Supreme Court justices. Brett Kavanaugh, when actually he wasn't a Supreme Court justice at the time, but he was just a judge. She worked for him as a law clerk. And Supreme Court Justice John Roberts, she also served as a law clerk for him. Now, Vance is said to be a practicing Roman Catholic. I don't know the difference between a Roman Catholic and a regular Catholic or whatever other type of Catholic we have. I don't know the difference between them. If y'all know, drop them in the comment section. But his wife is a practicing Hindu. So, during his time in the Senate, Vance has been described as a neo-reactionary, national conservative, right-wing populist, and an ideological successor to paleo-conservatives such as Pat Buchanan. Y'all all know who Pat Buchanan is. I don't need to talk about him. Hold on. Y'all see how dry my lips been getting? And I don't have my own products handy. So I'm putting some damn Aquaphor on my lips. This is not a sponsored video. Okay. So, my tongue look white. Dusty. I'm taking medicine, y'all, that's making me dehydrated. Okay. So, basically, what that all means, the neo-reactionary, national conservative, right-wing populist, paleo-conservative, what all that means is that they're extremist. That's a good way for me to say it, right? So, outside of Pat Buchanan, he also cites people like Curtis Yarvin. Curtis Yarvin is the founder of the Dark Enlightenment. The Dark Enlightenment was created to go against the Age of Enlightenment. You know what I'm saying? Their whole purpose is to replace democracy. Okay? He also cites people like Rod Dreher. And he's an extreme racist. He's an extreme homophobe, transphobe. He also made a statement, because he doesn't even live in America anymore. He lives in Hungary. He made a statement once before that Africans who are coming into Europe, or even Africans or African diasporas who are even born in Europe, he's stating that they are basically the barbarian invasion. Patrick Deaton is another person that he supports. He basically thinks that liberalism has failed America. And other people like Rene Girard and Yoram Hazani, all these people are his influences. These people were his influences back when he was making those statements against Donald Trump. And the main thing he said about Donald Trump was that Donald Trump is basically bringing out all the races, and the Republicans, at least for the last 30 years, have used politics to beat the shit out of black people, to belittle them, to degrade them, to strip them of their rights, to put them in their fucking place. And he admitted that this is what Donald Trump has been doing, and because he's being so open with that in that 2016 election, he didn't believe that Donald Trump was going to win. Now, even though we know that's the election that he did win, but he basically just stole that shit. Okay, anywho, let me get off that for a second. So, the Dark Enlightenment, like I said, they call it neo-reactionary. They are anti-democratic, anti-egalitarian, they're reactionary philosophy. I can't speak. They have a reactionary philosophical and political movement. The Dark Enlightenment, their ideology rejects that. They reject progression. They reject progression towards liberty and enlightenment and, culminating a liberal democracy. One thing that I have found out about most new age Democrats, not Democrats, Republicans, most of these new MAGA-lites, these MAGA-noids, and what they are doing, when we say that we want democracy, they are associating the word democracy with being a Democrat. So if you want democracy, you want to be able to have certain rights, you want to be able to vote on leadership, things like that, then you can't be a Republican anymore. Even though democracy was one of the basis of the Republican Party. They upheld the Constitution and democracy with all their blood, sweat, and tears. But now the way that they are using that as a negative tool, that if you want democracy, then you have to be a Democrat. They believe that Democrats are the ones who created democracy, I guess, so to speak. They don't realize that the United States of America is a democratic republic. They don't realize that shit. Yeah. Anywho, let me keep going on, right? So Vance himself, he has waged wars against the LGBTIQ plus people. He was one of the main people back in May that was suggesting to declare war against Target department store because they had released their Pride collection of clothes, which they do annually. But yeah, he was one of those people that was like, go get them, boycott them, turn them down. That was him. He was one of them people. He also treats DEI like, basically just saying that's some woke shit, and being woke is basically calling you a nigga. That's really what it is. Okay, so he also calls DEI and its efforts racial hatred. He opposes abortion rights, including cases of rape. He only makes exception if the mother's life in danger. He probably has changed his stance on that as well. He is against immigration. And he voted he voted multiple times against the border security bill, only because Trump's told him to do so. So like I said, he's not somebody that's new to supporting Trump. He's always had this mindset. Okay. He has been one of the loudest critics in the Senate against giving more aid to Ukraine. But like I said, he claims that he does not support Russia. He also criticizes and believes that NATO and the United Nations is very ineffective. During his 2007, he got married in 2014. So in 2016 is when he started making statements against Donald Trump. In 2017 is when he began to prepare, or when he first made statement that he wanted to run for election or run a podcast, one of something else, child. And he ended up, there was a Democrat that was very prominent in Cincinnati in 2018, and he backed out. He punked out. He didn't think he was gonna win against that man at all. Okay, so when the seat became open in Cincinnati, somebody jumped out. He decided to run for that seat, and he won against his Republican opponent, and then eventually won the and ended up getting his seat in the Senate there. And but he was initially going to run in 2017. He just realized he wasn't finna beat that black man in his race in their country, and decided to go for Senate when somebody dropped out of the Senate. So yeah, this man is, usually you will find somebody, or when they pick up a candidate, they usually have somebody that has a lot of opposing views from them. I believe that JD Vance has not only the same views as Donald Trump. I believe that he has that vigor. He's quiet Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek Ramaswamy, I believe, was just all fucking talk. But JD Vance is basically him. Yeah, just, you know what I'm saying? And he's going to try to wear that badge of honor that he's a U.S. Marine and that he opposed Trump once upon a time. As his staple, and that he's married, because I've been seeing so many articles stressing on the fact that he's married to an immigrant. He can't be racist. Vance was racist, but he still slept with his enslaved woman, and sometimes fell in love with him, but he was still very racist. Just because you sleep with a doggone color don't mean that you're not. Just because like I told y'all before, I said this in one of my other videos, there are many Marines who are racist. There are many other people in the military who are very, very racist. Just because we put on a badge of honor does not take away who we are as a person. Sometimes it makes us build up the courage to be that person even more. And that's basically JD Vance. So I am going to take a look at the movie. The movie did very poorly in the box office, or as far as box office ratings. It only made $32,000. This is one of Ron Howard's lowest earning movies in a long time. It made $32,000. Probably gonna make more money now since it's #1 streaming on Netflix. But Glenn Close portrayed his grandmother, or his mother, so greatly, down to even looking like her, that she ended up still getting a nomination for this movie. I think did she get the award? I don't remember, but yeah, I'm gonna check it out, but I'm gonna wait till the hype die down so it won't still be in the #1 spot when I decide to review it, because I don't want to put no coins in this motherfucking pocket. Okay, so that's the end of this PNTV Extra. I don't want to talk about nothing else. I know that we got a lot to talk about, but I'm going to do a real PNTV later on this week. I can no longer do them from my vehicle, or I won't be doing it from my vehicle due to, those accidents, and I want to make sure that I'm very diligent on the road. So yeah, you don't see me sit up here in my damn room as soon as I get it together. It's a mess, child. So like laundry over there. Laundry clean. I just haven't put it away. You know what I'm saying? But you'll see it. So thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for being here. Leave any comments down in the comment section. And keep your eyes on JD Vance, baby, because he is basically already one of the sons of Jacob. He was always one. He was in The Handmaid's Tale, because we always bring this up. You know how you got I call him Joey. What are they called at the waterfalls? What was they called though? They call Commander. So Commander Joey Lawrence. Okay, so I always call him Commander, right? Commander Joey. How he says things that seem like it's positive and seem like it'll benefit us, but then he keeps doing shit that helps keep us oppressed. That's JD Vance, child. That's it. Yes, it is. That's JD Vance. All right. Y'all have a good one. Peace.